The very beginning of remembering is the train from Belgium to France when they took us to the Camp de Gurs camp. I remember the wire fences. I felt at the time we were in that camp that it was a stopover before they took us to places like Auschwitz. But before that could have happened, the underground, the Maquis, came and took several children out of the camp. We never went back to the camp. I believe God was there for me. I really do. I think that He was the big event in my life. But the other reason why I survived were because so many people were helping. I heard of MorseLife, okay? Most people have, but nobody really knows what MorseLife is about. I can say that I was one of those people. I knew MorseLife, and I knew that they helped Jewish people, Holocaust survivors especially, and this I have learned through Jenny Frumer.
Now Initiative was launched at the beginning of 2020, just before the pandemic. And it was launched because there was a demographic study that informed the community that there are around 5,000 to 8,000 Holocaust survivors in our community, and that 42% of them live in poverty. And so the Now for Holocaust Survivors Initiative is really an important program that can offer expanded and additional services to Holocaust survivors and their family members, from assistance in home, helping with bathing, helping with escort services to like doctor's appointments, medical appointments. Providing all of these services as part of the Now Initiative are really critical to aging survivors. For many, many years, Holocaust survivors have sort of lived in the shadows and wait almost till the last minute to ask for help. And so we've really had to do significant outreach in the community to let Holocaust survivors know that we're here and we're here to help them.
Obviously, we had a pandemic, and during that pandemic, it was very difficult because we couldn't do in-person programming. So we looked at ways to find survivors in very creative ways. One thing we did was put ads in the newspaper to try to find survivors that were in need of maybe a holiday meal or a holiday package. And so we were able to get phone calls of new survivors that were in need through that, more creative way, which was very successful. Another thing we did was Zoom gatherings, not with survivors, because as we know, that cohort isn't so tech savvy, but with just members of the community who know survivors. So they were able to spread the word, and we were able to find survivors that way. And in light of the world that's opened up a bit, we're able to provide in-person programming, and we have luncheons and holiday programs for survivors for them to get together. Many survivors have reached out to me in the last week or two just to tell me how traumatized they really are and how it's bringing up so many memories for them of all the triggers many of the triggers they experienced in the Holocaust, especially the images of TV of the men staying to fight the war and the women and the children trying to escape and running away and trying to find food and clothing and only having one bag. These images bring back so much trauma for survivors. They're telling me that they can't watch the TV, and they feel just as helpless, and that makes them feel even worse because we think about how helpless we feel, but they actually experience a trauma similar, and they can't do anything about it. So they're just so distraught. That's another reason why I think it's so important to get them together, because they need to talk to each other about this, because they are having such a hard time processing it, and it's bringing up the trauma for them all over again.
When we talk about the Holocaust and we talk about genocide, and we talk about what happened under the Nazi regime, we're really talking about malignant trauma. And that is the kind of trauma that one really never gets over. Generally speaking, Holocaust survivors are afraid of bureaucracy. They're afraid of institutions. They're afraid of having their name on any kind of a list. But when we can create trauma-informed care, then survivors are more willing to trust us and come forward for help. There are some basic principles about trauma-informed care, such as creating a safe environment, making sure that there are ways through behaviors that we can create a sense of trustworthiness and deep respect, a real deep sense of trying to understand the individual in their own environment and what kind of historical persecution they may have experienced.
The NOW initiative is special because not only we are providing services, but we also are providing educational lessons in the schools by teaching the concept of civility, or teaching someone to be an upstander versus a bystander, mitigate bigotry and hatred. In December, we merged with Next Generations, which has helped us develop the educational component, which is so important with this initiative. Because as you and I know, when you talk to any Holocaust survivor, they want to make sure that you never forget. And that goes along with the next generation of people who will be continuing to help these individuals.
There are so many survivors who have truly left a mark on my life and for whom I will forever be grateful. Their stories, while really sad and so deeply traumatized, are so inspirational. Marie was a child during the Holocaust. She connected with the Now for Holocaust Survivors initiative because she really needed help. She had lost her son a couple of months before, and she was living in an apartment with a not so nice landlord. And so the Now Initiative was able to help her with that, but not only just give her the money, we actually helped by finding a realtor who works in the community in which she lives, who showed her around. And because of Palm Beach being so high in terms of rentals, we also provide her some subsistence every month so that she can sleep well at night, not worrying about the financial issues.
If it hadn't been for Jenny Frumer, I wouldn't even be here talking to you. I wouldn't be living in this, what I finally have a home that I can call a home. I can't explain to people what it is to have a home. It's not a house, it's a home. What they have done for me, I will never be able to thank till the day I die. They've done more than I expected, more than I even thought would be possible. They have given and given and given. And I'll be truthful with you, I have taken. But I'm hoping that in some way I can say thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for giving me more life than the life I have or had, because now it's so much better.
I think the only thing that I like to remind people, because I think it's so important, is that sometimes people say, you're helping Holocaust survivors, but aren't they all going to be dead in 5 years? No. Child survivors, those who were hidden and those who were children during the Holocaust, are only in their 70s and early 80s. And so we need to be here to help Holocaust survivors and their families for a couple more decades, even though we know that we're losing Holocaust survivors every day and that they're dying.